All right.
You want to do another one of them?
Yeah, we are now looking at the.
I was trying to tell people what we're doing.
That was his whole problem with me because I didn't do that at first.
Yeah, but this ain't a tutorial video, Jeff. So now you go to the left tab.
We are now doing.
We're looking at the double XL.
At the top bar, you have to click on.
Which freestyle do you want to see?
What do you want to look at now?
I'm looking at the whole thing.
But where did you go? Where are you
This
at?
is the whole list.
Yeah, but this is like the ABCs. This ain't the freestyle shit.
It's the freestyles next to it. Calm down.
My fam.
And
Mulatto, I know her.
You want to hear Mulatto ones?
Yeah, why not?
No.
Oh, I do actually. I do want to hear.
All right, then.
Let me listen.
People have voted. Watch it be hard as fuck. Watch.
Yeah, they call me back in Lotto. 3 shows one night. Bitch, I'm too rich to fight. Your head ain't nothing but a price. I don't got a type. Long as bag bigger than mine. Nigga, I'm spoiled cause my folks still was moving that white. You might see me out with one of my niggas in public. I ain't tripping, he ain't hit it. Can't name one that I'm fucking. You know Lotto low key. I'm a young OG. You can't play a real PIMP. I seen my ex the other day, that nigga started to cry. I see these bitches sneak this and they know better to try. Cause like a check bag, we ain't letting that shit fly. Big Lotto got them big mad and you see why. I'm pimping niggas like China. Pussy all on his lineup. 4-5 different designers. They all like I should've signed her. Can't keep up but they tryna. Bitch, you play like a vinyl. When he asked if this pussy mine, I told him kinda.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I'm surprised.
These women are doing these women are doing aggressive verses these days.
No, but I don't think
it's
it's not. I don't think it's that special, to be honest. But
No,
I like the
I mean,
energy. I like
it
her
was
energy.
good.
Yeah.
The content isn't different from what Cardi is doing or what Nicki Minaj is doing, Megan Thee Stallion, whatever.
I thought it was more like what Megan does. It's a little more street.
But I mean, yeah. So
It's a little bit more street.
nothing very special. Like nothing jumps out. Like what her last verse or
Yeah, but they rapping like everyone else is rapping. What do you mean?
But I'm trying to find something unique in a verse. You feel me?
You an A&R now?
Yeah, but,
Come on, like
you know who? Okay, man, I mean, it's just an XXL freestyle. I don't know if
Yes,
I'm looking into it that deeply, man. Yeah, it's just
but
freestyle.
I think you have to present yourself. Like with this is your graduation basically.
So you still got that designer XXL freestyle where you started singing Timmy Turner.
That was great.
You still want that? Get
That
the
was
fuck
great.
out of here,
That
man.
was
Get
great.
this guy off
That
my
was
podcast
unique.
right now.
That was unique.
I'm just pleasantly surprised by this because with XXL
Remember
nowadays,
that? No. Wait. Do you remember that?
that was fire.
Do you remember that?
What?
The Timmy Turner.
Timmy Turner.
Oh, it was amazing. But the
That's
song
what I'm talking
The
about.
song was so
The song was
trash.
awful.
Too loud?
Listen. That's your opinion. But I mean, still.
My opinion, song was
But
trash.
still, that's what I'm looking for in a verse. In something.
Disconnects. I'm not hearing.
Ah, yeah. That's okay. Yep. Continue.
Go ahead.
So basically,
no.
like the content, whatever she's spitting about, is not unique. So whatever she adds to this,
But not unique in general, or not unique for female rap.
not unique for female rap.
But why does it have to be unique for female rap? That's the question, man. But that was legit my question.
yeah,
That was legit my
yeah,
question.
it doesn't-
That's what I'm trying to understand because they're all
No, but
the guys
what
also rap this shit, right?
The thing is, what I'm looking for, basically, you have you had this issue with women not being able to enter this male dominated area, right?
Yeah, the Instagram models got that the fuck up out of here. They fixed it.
What?
The Instagram model solved that problem.
What?
I have a very long theory on this. It's a
Before
deep
you get
dive.
into that.
It's a deep dive. We don't.
you get into that.
If you want me to go into that, it's going to be on City. How much time you have?
Before we get
What?
into that,
What?
we are the Three Angry Men. My name is Jeffrey.
My name is Duncan.
Oliver.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, continue. Because I'm curious.
What? How the Instagram models made?
Yeah, why not?
You want to leave that for another one?
Nah, you don't know. That's weird. You just
Instagram-
hanging. You just cliffhanging that shit.
No, of course.
Talk about it. Talk about it, man. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Truncated.
Look, okay. Well, first, I mean, you always had that thing about like you could have one female rapper at the top, right? There were always many, but there was always one that could be at the top. And every time a new one came, there's beef. So you had Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, then Nicki Minaj, Cardi B when she came.
Yeah.
But Cardi B changed the game because she came
Megan Thee
off.
Stallion.
No, for herself and for everyone after that. That's my theory. Cardi B changed female rap. And it becomes off of her doing it in a very different way because she did it on her own off of Instagram. She utilized the Instagram platform, the online platforms that you have available to you now to broadcast yourself and sell yourself, to put her in that position where normally she wouldn't have gotten because there was already somewhere at that position. You understand?
No,
Because you used to have gatekeepers.
Explain the Instagram thing because what I know is how she got famous is because of Love and Hip Hop.
Yes,
and
I thought
through Love and Hip Hop.
Exactly.
She started off being.
You're saying
true.
that,
No, she was, but her character, her character off Instagram is what made people fall in love with her.
Yeah.
That's also what she did what she was doing on Love and Hip Hop was that same character she does.
Okay,
on
but
Instagram.
she expanded that into her music, and then from that.
Because how did she get on Love and Hip Hop? She was online. Like all the strippers are online, bro. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, just go back to your
Recording
theory
here as well.
Just back to your theory.
Recording that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, Cardi B changed the female rap game.
Okay.
Because it has to do also with time. Because she came up in a time where you could use online platforms to, get yourself on, to put yourself on there.
Yeah.
And she used Instagram very effectively. As all the strippers are on Instagram. She was one of them. She was on Instagram. They used that to sort of get people to come to the strip club, get them more money, things like that. Right? So what I'm saying is, if you look at it with what the Instagram models are now also doing with OnlyFans, it's kind of the same idea of what she did with music. You build your own platform and then you have a way to monetize it.
To be honest, like this only platform, I swear to God, this is crazy, man. Like, just continue.
We'll get to that in a second.
Sorry.
But it gets okay, but let me break it down. Let me bring it out. If you think about it, like, okay, so you have Instagram models, right?
Yeah.
And then they monetize through OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so these women are selling, sex. That's the idea, right? In the form of videos and pictures. Think about how you used to do that before. It would have to be a magazine or a porn video. And who directs that? Who's in charge of that? Who owns that? A man. A guy gonna own the magazine, right? It's gonna be Hugh Hefner, right? Who makes the magazine? It's gonna be some dude who owns the porn network. Now women are doing that on their own.
Yeah.
They're monetizing that themselves. Cardi B did the exact same thing, but then with music. That was a monetization. So as opposed to it being like it wasn't with past, where you're a female rapper, you have to go through a gatekeeper who was almost going to be a man, almost always going to be a man. She did it without that, and was therefore to sort of hack the system of having to have just one lady.
Yeah.
With Lil Kim was Biggie, Nicki Minaj was Lil Wayne. But with her, you have no one.
Yeah.
With her, it's her. It was fully her. Yes, it was. There was no dude.
Although
Where's the dude?
if you follow Love and Hip Hop, she did have some guidance from men, but
no guidance, but I'm saying gatekeepers.
Yeah,
like
okay.
who make Lil Wayne put Nicki Minaj there. That's just what happened. Same way he put her there.
That is
Don't put her there.
Yeah, but there was some talk about Cardi and Nicki having some kind of beef at some point, right?
Exactly, but that's because that's what you always get when you have one. But
that still doesn't explain.
What happens is often then one gets to stay.
Yeah, okay, but
she was able to undo that.
But that still doesn't explain.
And she brought Megan.
Wait.
And then now it's because it
she's
doesn't seem to be relevant anymore.
No, wait. To link that back to Mulatto, right? Your statement was what?
She's not that different from.
You were saying that she's not that different from other female rappers.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's not that different from rappers in general in terms of this type of verse. A lot of rappers do this type of verse.
Most of these rappers are not that. Like Lil Che, for instance. Like if we listen to Lil Che, he's on the list.
Okay.
If we would listen to his stuff, it would not be that different from other.
That was all I was saying.
Other rappers that we have now.
No. I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying some rappers don't rap about the same topics and have the same cadence and everything. But what I think female rap needs is a little.
That's different.
But to be honest, but to be honest, like they need a little more. Of this diversity situation because you have
I see what you mean. I see what you're saying.
If it's only one lane, then it's
lane. They need different
but
kinds
they have the traditional bar for bar lane as well.
No, I don't think you get it.
I see what he's saying. If you look at this hip hop in general, you got your Futures, you got your Migos, like but then you also have like Kendrick Lamar, and you have J. Cole, and they also have like.
What's
people doing drill, Pop Smoke. You have different kinds of. Whereas here it sounds like they're all the same type of shit. I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. And so you're saying we need like a female rapper who does like hardcore like drill or something.
Everything, man. Everything.
Or like one that does like Future.
That would be dope though.
But they have that though, right? Don't they?
I mean,
sure
they're
there's
not that popular, or
because
they're not mainstream. You
but
understand?
that is because these platforms like XXL and stuff are not promoting these people.
But that's the thing. If you
If
have
we
more,
leave-
if you have more,
That shit is out
of
there.
those-
It's out there.
If you
It's out
leave
there.
it up to these platforms, you will never find it.
It's out there. It's out
People
there.
need to find it themselves. You're right, but it is already out there.
You're a music nerd. Oh, you have to go to the blogs.
You need to get the blogs were the shit. The blogs were the shit.
If you
But how
don't get
did they get out of there and get to the mainstream?
In this climate, I don't know if they even need to get out there. Like in their cities, they can be megastars.
and make money, true?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more than only being a megastar in that little island.
You're talking about moving
talking
the
about-
culture.
Yeah, like it's
Not everybody
more
can
of
do
the
that.
diversity is it's eventually better
No,
because
but
when you had Nicki, right? When you had Nicki, the Monsterverse would not have ever been as good without Nicki on it.
But
Even though you had Rick Ross, you had Jay-Z, you had Kanye West on one track, and Nicki was the one that
She's a very good rapper.
that took
But she's a very good
took the
rapper.
crown. No, but I mean, you have
people,
other
people have forget that, but she's a very, very
but
good
the
rapper.
thing here is, all these women we're talking about are insanely good at what they do. Cardi is insanely good at performing these songs and being the superstar that she is.
Exactly.
Megan the same thing, Nicki the same thing, Lil Kim, everybody that we've mentioned.
Okay, but
all these new people are not that yet. So they are not there yet. If they can become that, they will be up there. If there's a drill rapper, but they don't have the skill
but
yet.
they have to be accepted as well. They have to be.
They will be.
Like hip hop has to be open to it.
I don't think that's a problem.
Look at y'all dudes going off on this,
I don't
man.
think
Like, get into the shits, man. Who wants to announce? Who wants to explain? I feel like, Jeff, you get us into it.
You want to talk about the spotty?
Yeah, that's what it is.
The spotty situation.
Yeah.
So
Spots.
the Joe Budden podcast dropped a bomb on the podcast world in general.
See, that's why I like Jeff too, because he give you that dramatic effect.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm gonna let
That's
him
why
do
you
it.
not let me do it. Like you
That's
want
what- that's why I said-
you
To
want
be
the
honest,
extra sauce.
this is the first time he actually like introduced it in a way
he
that
did
it's
something
interesting.
with it. He did
You see,
something with it.
So
You already here, man. Take it off.
He basically announced that later this month, I think,
September 23rd. As of
September 23rd. His podcast will not be on Spotify anymore or even exclusive to Spotify. I don't know if he will not post it to Spotify
The
anymore.
way it
but-
was communicated,
but
the way I
he-
understood it, it seemed like it would not be there at
Yes,
all.
he's breaking all ties with Spotify. He's basically saying, y'all fucked up. Y'all didn't handle us in the way that we are fit to be handled. So we're moving somewhere else.
Okay,
where
so explain this. What happened? Because I don't have any of the
So
background.
the story,
yeah,
he explained, 2 years ago they signed with Spotify. At
Yeah.
that moment, they're the second podcast
Schumer
to
was
sign a
first.
deal with Spotify.
Yeah.
First, they tried it with Amy Schumer, the stand-up comedian.
yeah.
Okay, she's not a podcaster. That shit feels fast.
Whoa.
They don't understand how this. What he was explaining is they don't understand how this market works because they think that just with anything else, you get a celebrity, will take off. Podcasts don't work like that.
no.
So then they got them who are a podcast.
They got them around the same time.
Around the same
Yeah.
time, like right after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put projections. They put up. They signed the contract. They put projections, numbers they had to meet in the first year. He's saying they met it like the first day. Like
The
they broke
first-
all the records.
The first 2 or 3 weeks that the podcast was on Spotify,
Yeah.
Spotify was not unusable for everybody.
App crashed.
If you wanted to listen to music, it was impossible. Whenever that shit dropped, that same day, the next few hours, it was impossible.
Apple
the
crashed.
first few weeks, the episodes were late because Spotify could not just upload this thing quick enough and handle the load that the service was
It's just
getting.
an enormous amount of people.
Apparently,
signed.
apparently, according to Joe Budden, they had to rebuild the app in the background to make shit work so they can handle the loads
to
that
handle the load.
his audience brings.
His audience is bringing. So that's that's what. Just to give you an idea. That's I think just to give you an idea of the magnitude of, what they did over there. Now, fast forward. So this goes on. I think he said about 8 months in,
Yeah, something.
they say they want to renegotiate. Right? They want to further business.
Which sounds
Right?
decent.
In a 2-year deal, the 8 months already they want to further business because they're breaking all the numbers. They're number one as podcast all the way through.
Yeah.
They offered him a deal. I think that deal already they offered him.
They were already asking.
They were offering him that more money, but they said they wanted to have ownership now, full on ownership. So
of everything.
And this is an important thing to address because I feel like a lot of people that were talking about this don't understand the difference. So there's a licensing deal where he's licensed it to them exclusively. Yeah. They're the only ones who can have it on their platform exclusively as a podcast. They're saying we want to buy it from you now.
The whole concept.
We own it.
Yeah.
It belongs to us. It becomes our legal property. We pay you for that. That's a different story. Then they went even wilder. They said not even just the podcast. We doing full on 360. So the pull-up shit, we own that too. The state of the culture shit, we want to own that too. When Maul goes outside to get a drink, we want that too. Rory fucking goes out with his girlfriend on a date, we want that check.
Yeah,
we want every single thing that all these save on starts that goes in Instagram Live. We want that one. They want the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
he said fuck off.
No, he basically said recently. This
was back then, even 8 months ago.
Back then, okay.
Then he talks about how during the then they go into near the end of the year, it was they wanted to have vacation.
Yeah.
On New Year's and Christmas, Spotify said no, can't have vacation. Then they wanted to show their appreciation for them. That whole story is wild. You're gonna have to just peep that one on the podcast. But they wanted to show them their appreciation because they've been beating all the numbers.
Yeah.
They went back and forth on all types of shit. They first said, okay, they offered them watches.
Watches?
Yeah, they offered them watches. They went and got the watches. The watches too expensive. They went and get used watches. They said the used watches still too expensive. So this is how it went on. I'm dead ass.
Yeah, this is
explain that to me.
They said it was too expensive. That's it.
They wanted Rolexes.
So Joe Budden and the other two.
Yeah.
Right?
Other three.
Yeah. They got watches from Spotify.
Offered them. Yeah.
Offered them watches.
Yeah. And they said so in the idea of you go get it and then we'll pay for it.
Oh, like that.
And they said 2 times it was too expensive. First for new Rolexes, then for used Rolexes. It's too expensive.
This is weird.
We're not doing that.
Very awkward. So I'm trying to see, help me if I'm missing a part. So that goes on. Then they go into the second year, and I think I understand they approached him again with that same deal, but then with even more numbers. Okay. Meanwhile, during this whole process, what he points out is that Spotify, after their success, went and bought Gimlet. Gimlet is a podcast network, which has what is it? Are we talking hundreds of podcasts?
Easily.
Hundreds of podcasts.
It's a podcast network. They have the Wall Street Journal there as a podcast.
So they bought that, right? Then they bought a technology called Parcast. That's a technology used to make podcasts, right? So they're acquiring all these things. I told Jeff the other day, I noticed if you open the Spotify app on our TV, it now says Spotify for music and podcasting. It didn't used to say that. They're making an entire shift to the podcast.
So they're moving, yeah. So
this
moving
happened,
into the
this
podcast
happened
realm.
after Joe Budden. After they got Joe Budden, they started slowly moving toward podcasts. They did all the deals with everybody, with Kim Kardashian, the Obamas, with Joe Rogan. They did all those kind of things after they had Joe Budden.
They were the guinea pig.
In the field.
They were the test.
Yes. They got him for cheap. Essentially.
So now they offered him this
cheap,
deal.
But yeah.
And I really don't. I mean, we looked at some of the responses of people. I really don't get their logic of what.
Whose logic?
Well, Charlemagne responded. People responded. They were saying that the response has been somewhat, he's bad at business deals because he keeps getting kicked away.
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like y'all don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he was very clear. It was a long rant. And then the second episode, he went on another rant.
Basically responding to Charlemagne and his accusation of Joe not being a good businessman because he cannot get a deal. In the responses we saw today, we saw people saying, hey, there was one point where everybody got stuck on. They wanted to have vacation during Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 days that year that they would need to record. They asked Spotify, hey, can we take off? Spotify said no. And everybody's hung up on that part, saying that, hey, if you make a deal, you need to include everything. Also vacation.
That's their fault.
Yeah.
The man went on a 40-minute rant. That's what you got from
Yes.
That's not what the conversation was about. They skip. That's my problem. They skip over all the important parts because they know that when it comes to that, there isn't much to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
What he was explaining was several things. First of all, they're short selling them. Mm-hmm. And if he's the number one podcast and he takes this,
everybody's fucked.
All these other podcasts can't come and say that they want something higher than that. So it caps it.
Exactly.
The number one has this. That's the first thing in the business.
Mm-hmm. That reason alone is why this fight or this discussion is so important for anybody who makes podcasts or listen to podcasts. Because next to this, they also wanted, the whole reason why they wanted to own Joe Budden and own every podcast they want to own is so they can put ads in the podcast, just like they do on YouTube. On YouTube, they know what you like and all that kind of stuff because they're Google. So they can put, based on what you like on the internet and what you follow, what you watch, they can put specific ads in that shit. They want to do the same thing in your podcast. So if our podcast, for whatever reason, gets on Spotify and we would allow the option for them
ad insertion
to do that, we could say this block, you can put a little ad and they can put whatever they want.
Yeah.
We don't have any control.
So the algorithm would the AI would listen to the content of the podcast, look at the tags, the meta tags probably, and based on that pick things it puts in.
And link that with the person that's listening to it.
That's what they want to do. All the way into the back catalog too. So not just for your new stuff, but everything you recorded before. Kind of like, again, like you said, like how Google puts ads on websites.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons why Joe said, nah, I'm not doing that because I don't want to do that to my podcast.
So they didn't want to do that. So then in addition, he was also trying to explain to them the difference between ownership and licensing. And that's what I think people don't seem to understand. Right? The whole complex situation that went south, he learned from that one. I can see how you can still put that on him. Yeah. He learned from that.
Yeah.
This time, what he's saying is, fam, they offered me a large amount of money, yes. But in exchange, they want full ownership.
They want his soul, basically.
Asset.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand, if you're offering, and this is people don't say, if you're offering me this much for this asset, it means companies think in projections. Companies think into the future. So if you're offering me this now, it's because you know it's going to be more later.
Yes.
Otherwise, how would you make a profit?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? If you, why are you buying this from me if you don't want to flip it? So if you're buying it from me, it means you want to flip it. It means it's flippable.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying. People don't understand. And they haven't built the infrastructure in terms of revenue for the podcast. It was a very powerful state. And no one addressed this. All these people talking about it. They didn't address this. Very powerful thing that he pointed out that I never even stopped to think is that the way that Spotify makes money is through the streams, right? Yeah. But for every stream of a song, right, the record labels get about like 70, 80%.
Yeah.
It's not a sustainable business for them. They have very little money left at the end of that because the record label gets the majority of it.
Yeah.
And this is where the ad insertions come.
With podcasting, one, that's not the case, especially if you buy it. Then it's yours. You have to give, it's 100%.
Yeah.
Even if people put that podcast on your platform, you don't pay for it.
You don't pay anybody.
We don't get paid. Nobody gets paid for putting that podcast on
it's
anywhere.
Like YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like YouTube. So, but then the most important thing is also,
you don't get money for streams?
No.
Like YouTube, like let's say YouTube, you have a lot of listeners.
You get money for a certain amount of streams.
You get money for the ads people watch on your video.
If you have a certain amount of streams, if you have a large amount of streams.
Yeah,
but the money that you're getting off of that is nowhere near what they're actually making.
They're taking at least 60, 70%.
They don't have to give you anything because you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're putting it on their platform. But the most important thing also is that songs are 3 minutes. So you have 3 minutes and you have ads in that. That's what they're making money. A podcast is 3 hours. So if you have a podcast, someone listens to an entire podcast, you have 3 hours of content that people are listening to, but you can spread ads over. So then we get into the streams because how do you determine who's number one? You have to count streams.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that if you're counting streams, you have a podcast that has a million streams and you have a song that has 10 million streams, the podcast still has probably more time invested because every one of those streams is about
it's more valuable. Basically,
but then,
you know what I'm saying? Relatively speaking,
but then
what I was telling Jeff, what they would actually have to do to make more sense is to start counting it in time.
But then you get into,
but they're not going to do that.
Then you get into the discussion of how does a podcast that is 15 minutes count against a podcast that is like 3 hours
time.
How do you, who is number one in those? If one of them, the 15-minute one has like 1 million listens and the 3 hour one has like 100,000, like the 3-hour one maybe has more time spent on it. But what is the other one like?
That's why you have to calculate it in time.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're calculating it in plays. Mm-hmm. They're calculating in plays. They're still number one with that, but they're calculating it in plays.
The main metric, any streaming, and the main metric.
He did bring forth that argument, right?
Yes.
This argument. Okay.
He said,
look, the main metric any streaming, any media company wants is retention. Mm-hmm. You want people to stay as long as possible on your platform, so you can do whatever.
They told him they don't. He was talking about that. They told him they don't monitor that. They don't calculate that.
What?
That's a lie.
But it goes into all these streaming platforms and the mechanisms behind them. Bro, I have the same issue. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. I have the same problem. That's why I understood him very well, maybe for this reason also, because I'm really into film and I want to go in the film business. And I have the same problem with Netflix. Netflix don't tell you shit. Spotify is at least even still kind of. Netflix don't tell you nothing.
They measure every second.
Nothing. They measure everything. They don't tell nobody nothing about what's going on. This whole thing that they do now with the top 10 in every country, that whole thing is a response to Disney. Disney, the release of Disney Plus is the first time they started losing users ever since that business has been what it was. So they had to start compromising. People wanted to know these type of things. They've been asking for a long time. So now they did it. But even then, still, what it's based on is
there's only Netflix originals in that list. What? That's not true. I know for sure that people are watching other shit on Netflix. They're watching old shows. They're not watching all these Netflix originals. Why is House of Cards in that list?
But they don't give you any numbers. And that was his problem. He wanted numbers. He wanted analytics. He wanted information.
Yeah.
And they were not going to give him any analytics or any information.
But that's the problem with a lot of these companies. They're not going to give you the analytics no matter what. So you need to make your own analytics. You need to get the info yourself.
And the data is the money.
Exactly. It's the retention and the data. How long can you keep people? What do you know? Based off of that, you can make all the money. And the problem with Charlemagne and all these people is that they're focusing.
Well, first of all, they work for people. That's the first thing you need to understand.
So we're talking about Charlemagne working for.
You have a job.
For somebody.
You have a job. You can't. That's what Joe was saying. You can't compare your situation to mine. You go negotiate a paycheck. You go negotiate a raise.
It's different.
I'm negotiating my own asset. This belongs to me.
Yeah.
This is his. That is his brand. Everywhere. Off of YouTube, it's his brand. If it's on Spotify, off of Spotify, if it's on YouTube, it's his brand. He goes and does live shows. That's also his. So how do you?
You need to remember.
It's a very different conversation than you trying to get a job or a show at HBO where it's their show. They're hiring you to do it.
You need to remember with these podcasts.
Business deal.
With these podcasts and also with Joe Budden and Rory and Mal and Park as well. Off of this podcast, you get other deals which make you a lot of money. So if you own the podcast, you can do whatever you want with it. You can bend a little bit. You can be creative with it and you can move along. You can just get other deals and be bigger. Yeah. If you don't own that shit, you're beholden to somebody else.
That's what they were saying.
And they're gonna put shit in that you don't want to do, and that will ruin your outer brand.
But that's what Spotify also said. If you, we want everything, right? So if you even start, if you were to stop this, if you think that's how I always tell people too. It's the same thing in music, by the way. They're using. That's why he said was saying it's music games. It's the same trick.
Yeah.
Yo, 5 album deal, right? We give you this amount of money, 5 album deal. All these albums are ours. You have to make that in this amount of time. You're okay. I'll outsmart them. I'll do this one as a mixtape. That's mine. No, it's not.
No.
We get money from that too.
Every creative output,
and it don't count for the 5 albums. This is the type of shit they're gonna do.
If you do a movie with music in it,
that counts. Merchandise, sponsors, where you get a deal with Nike. They take a cut from that too.
Yeah. The wildest thing in this whole episode,
and that's the type of deal that we're trying to do with Joe.
The wildest thing in that episode with Joe was that they went on a tour, right? They went to live venues and did all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
When the tours were done, Spotify called them. We need our cut. What? You have a cut? We didn't know yet. They checked the contract. They have a cut. Spotify was not involved in that shit at all.
I think they knew they had a cut though. They knew it was more they were bothering them about it.
Yeah, but it's weird. I am going out on my own podcast. We have a licensing deal of some sort. You are not involved in this at all. Why do you have a cut? This is a live show. This is not on your streaming platform.
If it counts as an episode, that's what.
No, I think it's very important to make sure that he has. I don't know his infrastructure, but I mean, I think it's necessary for him to have a business manager when it comes to this.
Yes. Definitely.
I don't know if he has one, but if he has one, he should fire that guy.
But where's the? But I don't. That's what people are saying, but I don't get it. Where's the mistake?
Okay, the mistake here, right? The mistake here. He should focus, like, because you have most of the times, if you have an artist, you have this machine behind this artist, right? And Joe Budden is the actual artist, and the machine is not functioning properly.
How so?
I don't think that's right.
No. The thing is, if you have a machine, right? The machine has to be able to realize the deal. For example, the machine has to make sure that legally every aspect should be covered. Yeah, but he should be informed about this.
Yeah, but if you're offering me a deal, you say you want to buy my thing, and I'm saying no.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I mean, I'm talking about the alternatives. So in this deal, right? What was the wiggle room? What were the alternatives? I'm not saying Joe Budden didn't do that.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is Joe Budden should focus on what he's good at, and that is making great content.
No,
right?
but was there
and I'm talking about the business manager, the person that he appoints to handle that side of the business should be capable to move.
Hold up.
This comes out of the idea that he wants to stay there. I don't think he wants to stay there.
No, but I mean, 8 months
something.
ago, he wanted, right? He wanted to stay there, right?
For me, the problem here is not. I think I understand what you mean a little bit. But the problem here is that they put the stakes too high immediately.
100%. I agree.
They ask for everything immediately. If somebody asks for everything immediately, the only thing you can do is give them a little bit less than everything, and that's something, and that is already a problem.
Never the plan. If it was never the plan.
I completely agree with.
He said in the podcast it was fine that if they could stay there and continue to have a licensing deal of some sort. The problem is that they asked for full ownership of everything.
But that's what I'm saying. It's Spotify that gave him the ultimatum. Not him.
Yes.
They said, we want the whole thing or nah.
Okay,
but
so
have to understand
based on that, based on knowing that they gave him that option, right? What is your next step? Do you want to stay and provide them with content knowing that their position is that of taking your complete project, taking your complete making sure that your content is theirs basically. It's not, that should not, if you know that that's their end game, you should adapt, and you should make sure that you take your content off and make sure that they bleed.
That's what he's doing now. He's now basically saying, at the end of this deal, I'm gone. And you guys don't have this content. You don't have your number one podcast. You basically are going to bleed dry.
Because y'all not, I don't think people are seeing it yet. So now I'm thinking I'm Spotify.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing, you have to look, and I think it becomes clear when you look very close to their cinematic counterpart Netflix. Because they're doing the exact same thing that Netflix is doing, because they have the same problem that Netflix had. And that's the whole thing that is happening now in this streaming landscape industry, is the realization by these companies that to have a streaming platform based on licensed content is not sustainable.
Yeah.
So if I have that's how Netflix started making original content, because then they can keep all the money.
Started with House of Cards.
Exactly. Started with House of Cards. Then they say, okay, we can get all the people here, and I can control what all the people watch because it's my platform. So they watch my shit first. You were just saying they all put the Netflix originals first because they make more money off of that.
Oh, of course.
They don't make as much money if you go watch Friends.
Yes.
So they want you to watch their version of Friends, and they'll make a version of Friends on the basis of the information that they have of your watch history. It's the same thing with Spotify. They're
late. They're kind of late because Apple Music has been doing this already, right?
Whether it's going to work or not is another story.
Yeah, okay.
But what they're saying is, because this brings it back to Joe, we have a licensing deal with you. You're the biggest, they know it. You're the biggest podcast. The shit crashed. The app crashed several times. People went and complained to Spotify. They didn't even know. I work at a streaming platform. I know how it goes when the app crashes. It's chaos.
It's
mayhem. Terrible. People lose their shit. This shit crashed. Number one podcast for how many years in a row. They bought the Gimlet. Brought another 100 podcasts. They're still number one.
Mm-hmm. They brought in Kim Kardashian.
They brought in Kim Kardashian.
The
all these people,
Obamas.
still number one.
This doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Still number one.
They brought in Joe Rogan. That's the only thing that maybe would kick him
because
off.
Joe Rogan is not there. Is not broadcasted yet, right? On Spotify.
He's
coming.
He's there.
He's coming though.
He already is posting.
But just
Spotify.
recently.
Yeah, just recently.
But here's the problem that I have with that then.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have, if I'm a streaming platform, I can't have my number one podcast be a podcast that I don't know.
That I don't know. Yeah.
Because that's costing me way more money.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get the people to watch a podcast that I do own, I'm making more money. And I can easily do that because I press buttons.
Mm-hmm.
It's an algorithm. I do whatever I want. You see what I'm saying? So what they're saying to him is, we want the exclusivity, or else we cannot allow you to have this licensing deal while we trying to get Joe Rogan to number one. You're going to be in the way of that. Even if he is number one, you're going to be number two or number three. Taking away a lot of focus, right? The millions of people that are watching your podcast could be watching the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If I put that in front of their face. Or some other copy of your podcast that I'm going to buy that you don't even know yet. That I'm going to make the same thing.
Yeah.
Watch that. They're going to buy they'll find another podcast that is similar about hip hop and they'll try and put that there.
It wouldn't surprise me if they take something like Everyday Struggle and make it a podcast version.
To speak to the same demographic. And the problem is they know your demographic now because they have all the information.
They have
so they can copy they know at which point.
No, but they don't got the sauce. They don't
have
the sauce. They don't have the sauce, man.
That's the thing.
Again, I'm not saying it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because that's how Netflix also makes those shitty movies on the basis of just keywords.
Yeah.
And it just becomes some weird pasted. I understand that. So I agree with you 1,000%. It's probably going to be trash. But they're going to do it. They're going to do it and people will watch. Because a lot of movies that I thought were trash, people was watching them.
They will make a substantial audience. They will have enough people.
So that's the move. But for people to understand, that's why I think people didn't understand, he didn't have much of an option there.
No,
that's
so
what I was trying to explain with the business manager. He didn't have much of an option. The company was never going to allow him.
I
to be there as a licensed podcast. The one thing buying exclusive deals.
The one thing I want to make clear here, this is not against Spotify in any kind of way. They were doing what they need
exactly
to do.
what they're supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking. I'm trying to explain to you. I am Spotify from that perspective.
They are exactly doing what they need to do.
What I'm saying is, from Joe's
no hate to
perspective.
Spotify.
No, what I'm saying. No, but okay.
No,
Dude,
but
my guy.
Jeff
trying to secure the bag. No. Jeff trying to secure the bag. No, appreciate it.
I want people to understand.
Keep trying to reel it in.
I
want people to check. We're going too far now.
No, I want people to understand that this is business. This kind of shit happens. People have different goals than the business.
And so what I'm saying is from Joe's perspective, I'm saying if he knows this is the situation he entered and these are his business partners.
He figured it out after.
No, but I mean, still, if you figure this out afterwards, you move accordingly. And what I'm saying is, if you know that 8 months ago they had this demeanor or they went and approached the situation like that.
What you mean.
Know that they're not going to change.
I see what you mean. But that's what he can. And he spoke on that. That's where he came in. He said, okay, normally he would have done some wild shit. He's trying to change. So he tried to honor the contract this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year deal. It's 8 months in. You're doing some bullshit. It's still a 2-year deal. I still got, 1.5 years left.
From a business perspective, right? All I'm saying is, and I'm not saying it's that easy. It's that simple. All I'm saying is, if you have Spotify, you have competition. The competition is, for example, Apple Music, right?
That's coming.
Wait. So you have
we
Spotify.
can talk about that next.
Give me a second. You have Spotify. You have Apple Music. Apple Music would be more than interested in buying Joe Budden's podcast, right?
They would.
Makes sense.
This is logical.
It makes sense. I would be shocked if they didn't. I'd be shocked if they didn't buy it.
This is easy.
I think I know the play already. We talked about
it. The play is easy. You have the contract. They buy you out of the contract. and you just provide Apple with music or with the content you created for Spotify. That's all.
No, but I could see Spotify in this case saying
no, what he's saying. He's saying they should have done that the 8 months.
Yeah, but but
I'm saying that's coming.
No, but
I'm saying that's coming now.
No, but I'm saying 8 months ago.
But he's saying 8 months ago. No, I'm trying to say. You're saying 8 months ago they should have done that already.
Because it's all about negotiation.
I disagree.
It's all about negotiation.
I think Spotify would say no to that.
It's not about Spotify saying no to that. You have a contract. If you have a contract, right? If you have a contract, people can buy you out, or companies can buy you out.
But he's saying Spotify ain't gonna take it. Is what he's saying.
Yes. What does Spotify have to do with this?
They are the ones who needs to take it.
It's a deal between two companies. I get that. But if there's probably a sentence in the contract stating, okay, if you break this deal, if you don't honor this deal, there are certain penalties you have to pay. I get that. Apple will pay these penalties. Because they know.
I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying.
They do this. This is
he's saying. So wait, but just for the audience, because I think we have to say what you're saying is they should have just said fuck it and just break contract, not record for them anymore, and then whatever penalties come, Apple pays it.
Of course, like strategically, make sure Apple knows about this situation.
No, of course, I'm saying it's very simple in general. But that's
basically what I'm saying.
I think.
I'll be honest, man. I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad at it either, but I think Spotify would do everything in their power to prevent that to happen. Because they are the number one podcast on their platform.
I get that. But that's why
to break the
deal. They would do everything.
I think they wanted to sit it out though. I think they wanted to sit it out the 2 years. Now it's done. Yeah. Now they're gonna figure out what they're gonna do next, and most likely it's gonna be now.
I know.
It makes sense
I know
to
the play
sell
already.
to Apple.
They're gonna put the podcast not on the podcast part of Apple, but on the radio part. It's gonna be a radio show.
Then my question becomes, why would Apple be any? Why would? But then the question becomes, why would Apple be any different?
Because they need bigger.
The same problem that you have with Spotify.
We talked about it before.
The same problem you have with Spotify, where they don't want they want their own shit to maybe a number one because that makes them more money.
Yeah,
we talked about it before. Apple doesn't want to sell subscriptions; they want to sell hardware.
That's true. Yeah. So you're dealing with a company that's much bigger than that.
If they can get me on this phone for longer, or to me to buy the next phone, that's more valuable than me having an Apple Music subscription.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if they could give me the radio show or the podcast for free on their platforms without any hassle.
That's true. The majority of money, the
licensing deal is enough for that.
Everything that Apple does, a lot of people don't understand that too. Everything that Apple does is to sell their hardware. All the apps they make, all the software.
That's why they didn't care about podcasts for so long.
That's why I didn't do it.
I didn't understand it at first, but you gave me a very clear explanation, basically saying, nah, it doesn't matter. They want people to buy their laptops, buy their phones.
That's what most of the money. If you just look at their numbers, also that more than 90% of the income comes from all of that stuff. And then
if you do some creative shit on our devices, cool. We'll give you even the space to put it online and facilitate
people on it. Yeah. It keeps more people on it.
You have a little space here for a podcast. Use it. We don't look at it, but use it however you want. And that's how they became the biggest platform ever. And they didn't see it. They didn't care about it.
They didn't even care about that.
Maybe that was that was the vision from the start.
Maybe could be.
Nah,
could be
because you're giving Tim Cook too much. You're giving him too much.
I'm not talking about Tim Cook anymore. I'm talking about the other guy,
Jobs.
Yeah, with the turtleneck.
He made everything happen.
Yeah, no. This whole Spotify deal is. By the way, Spotify responded to his first episode, and where's the response? I had it here somewhere.
You say I'm a streaming platform. You talking about you license? I just spit $100 million to this random dude to make money off of him. You're gonna interfere. You're gonna split the audience. You're gonna interfere in that. I can't allow that. I have to own it. Then I can make all the money off it. Then it makes sense.
Spotify responded in a statement. As Joe referenced on his show, we made him a considerable offer, one that was significantly larger and many times the value of the existing agreement and reflective of the current market and size of his audience. Unfortunately, we could not come to terms, and we respect his wishes to find a new home for his show.
Okay.
So the point is that, but you see, again, in this statement, the last sentence especially, unfortunately, we could not come to terms, and we respect his wishes to find a new home for his show. They gave him an ultimate. That's for all you bozos out there. I explain it one more time. They didn't give him that option that you're talking about to negotiate whether. No, they said, listen, we buy the thing so that we can move as a business, or you have to fuck off. Yeah. Because you're distracting from the Michelle Obama podcast. I just paid $100 million. You're distracted from my Joe Rogan podcast. I just paid $100 million. I don't have time for that. So you need to either become part of that or fuck off. It's very simple. Yeah. Netflix does it. It's simple business. If you understand that from the perspective of the streaming platform, it made all the sense in the world. Why am I going to keep you on here? You distracting. They're a big distractor.
I agree.
They're a big distractor because they're the number one podcast up there. Your audience keeps you, and your audience keeps you at that number one. Number one comes at the front. You distracted from my Joe Rogan podcast. I paid $100 million for this.
So there was an extra.
You see the point. You see how it doesn't work. So they didn't give him an option.
There was an extra dimension.
So you had to take it or leave.
There was an extra dimension in the beef, or
they won't say that though.
Not in the beef, in the discussion that Charlemagne and Joe Budden basically had back and forth there. Because what Joe Budden was pushing for was ownership for black people in what they do. If you make something, own it. So that if at some point something happens, you have it and it's your stuff to own. I'm going to bring this in right now. Nick Cannon. We saw it there. Something happened to him. We just leave what happened to him there. But
he made statements that offend a group of people.
Yes.
We don't agree with the statements. So that's not what we're talking about. But the point is,
he made the statement and he got pushed off of his show. He didn't own shit of it.
People didn't know that. The point, point of this,
that was surprising for everybody.
I don't think people understand. No, I don't think people understand because like the Wild and Out
Nick Cannon
is synonymous with Nick Cannon.
Without him, Wild and Out doesn't exist. I would not.
Nick Cannon created this.
But that's why it's such a good example.
No, it's crazy.
Because when we're looking at papers,
yes,
I don't give a fuck. It don't mean nothing.
No,
the paper says it's mine. So when I say you're done, you're done. I don't care who thinks that you are the one to make the thing. I don't care. It's mine. I am Viacom. It's mine. You fuck off now. That. Took him two minutes to get that guy to fuck up.
It's a problem that is allowed. That is.
It's not a problem that's allowed.
No, not it's allowed. That it is possible that somebody didn't prepare for this. Like, you should. I feel like he should have owned that shit outright. Have his own production company, do this whole thing, and just licensed it to MTV. Because it is crazy to look to
but
imagine.
To be honest, it's easier said than done.
It's how they work.
Yeah.
It's
it comes
business.
down to the same thing at all times. You have to say.
I understand it.
A very good example. I'm not going to try and make it a very long time, but a good example of this from way back. You guys all watched that documentary, The Black Godfather, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember that part where he was talking about how there was a company who wanted to buy Soul Train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because they couldn't buy it, they copied it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And it was one of these big networks. Huge network. Put a lot of money behind it.
I don't know.
And if it wasn't for Clarence Avant, watch the doc, they would have gotten away with that. He went behind the scenes. This is before you have algorithms and equations running things also. So you could still go and say, yo, end this fucking shit or we're going to boycott the nonsense because you're trying to hijack our show and steal our shit. But then it stays, that was black owned. It was a black show. Soul Train.
Yeah.
That other one was not.
And that's...
You see what I'm saying?
That's the thing.
So that's what he's trying to explain. But now that's with the equations and with all these... With
but
the
this part...
It's trickier to do.
This part of the discussion between Charlemagne and Joe Budden made Charlemagne's comments hurt even more. Like, dude, you don't want people to own shit? You don't want... this hip hop thing to be a black owned thing? Like, what's wrong? I thought the whole goal was for everybody to own their own spot in this thing.
People don't think that.
To make their own money in this thing. To everybody to become a Diddy or Jay-Z in this
thing. They don't think like that. They don't think like that. We've had this discussion. They don't think
I know, but there's way more here.
Did you know? I didn't know this, by the way. So I did not know this. So I'm wondering if you did. Did you know that Rap Caviar, which is one of the hottest things on Spotify, was made up by someone, just a user? You know how you can make playlists on Spotify?
Yeah.
It was a guy who just made that up, and they took it from him.
What?
They took it from him. Who made that? Yeah, I forget what's his name.
I know it's a playlist made by one of the...
Yeah, they took it from him. They took it from him.
What do you mean
now
they took it from?
It's theirs now. They own the brand of it.
Did they pay him?
They paid him something, probably.
Again, I can give you a license. I can just buy the thing and I can do whatever I want. Then you don't own anything.
I cannot even find the name of the...
No, you ain't go find it. They took it from. He explains it in the podcast. He explains how they took it from.
But that one hurt me the most when I listened to that podcast. The whole thing is just foul and it is business and it's messy and
we're talking about it. But we're talking about
the rap caviar part. That this guy.
No. I'm still on the Nick Cannon thing. Right?
No, Nick Cannon's thing is also
that's the thing that hurts.
Nick Cannon, but listen, Nick Cannon shouldn't have said what he said. That's the first thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
It's his own
conversation. That's not the point.
That's not the point.
The point is that with so little effort, something that is synonymous to him, as you rightfully said, because it's true.
Yeah.
Right. Was just
but you're not getting this. Like Nick Cannon created this platform where he invited comedians, other funny people,
he brought so many people
entertaining people.
He brought
on this platform, right?
He brought Twitter comedians, YouTube comedians, everybody.
Cat Williams came from that. Like I can go on.
People,
like,
mad people.
This is crazy.
Paying a lot of people, making a lot of people money. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's true.
Like,
and they even joke on during like the episodes. They even joke about Nick Cannon being the person that cuts their checks and everything, right? So I never even thought this was this was a possibility.
He doesn't cut the checks.
He doesn't cut the checks even.
But that's why I think it's also such a good lesson. It's such a good lesson. That's why it's such a good lesson. Now y'all see. You see. It come down when it really comes to when we're looking at it right now. Coronavirus pandemic, motherfuckers is dying, sleeping in the street. These billionaires making another billion every 2 seconds.
And the rich are getting richer, yeah.
Fucking Elon Musk is at like over 100 billion now. They just send me the phone just sends me notifications now. My phone just sent me a notification like, yo, Elon just hit 100 bill. He's second richest man in the world now. Tesla. Because there's a whole other different... It's ownership. They own things. They own assets.
I found
that
the
create
name.
Value.
You found it? What?
I found the name of the rap caviar guy. Tuma Basa. This guy...
He made rap caviar.
This guy should be a legend in hip hop. We're not going to go into the
whole thing about that though, because that's going to take too long.
No, we're going to... I'm not going to go into the whole how it went and everything, but this guy should be a legend in hip hop right now. And because he doesn't own his shit, we don't know.
Ownership.
There's tons of people who should be legends in black culture, hip hop, in any culture, but they don't own their shit, so we don't know who they are. A company bought them out, and they had a deal with them. It was all written on paper, and they all both agreed. But it's still
not foul. It's not foul. No, I don't want to call it foul. Here's why I'm not going to say that, because you have to learn. You have to stop complaining and learn the lesson. Oh, they didn't foul it. No, you don't own it. Period. You did something they don't like. It's done now. So the next time, if you don't want that, make sure you own it. And that's what you get. That's what you signed up for.
And this is exactly what Joe is telling you.
It's the same thing with Charlemagne was talking. He was supposed to have a show on HBO. They had a whole. Remember they said that when the announcement came, he was gonna maybe stop the Breakfast Club prime show on HBO. Was gonna be some late night daytime show, whatever, some type of talk show thing. Yeah. All of a sudden, some things came out that didn't make him look too good. Gone.
It's gone.
You have no say. You have no power. You have no control in this. You have no. This is happening because we decide. We called you. They have to call him to say, yo, we can make your own show. You sitting there all this. Why don't you make your own show yourself? No. Like I don't. You see what I'm saying? Like I respect. I don't understand. I don't understand
Joe's hustle. I respect Joe's hustle, man.
That's why I don't understand the argument he had.
When you have someone with the logic of Joe Budden, that's where you see that stark difference, and you see how people they can't. You can explain it 1,000 times, they don't get it. When I watched it, I understood it immediately.
But
very simple.
I do think that one of the biggest positive things in this that will change a lot of stuff about podcasting in general is that a lot of people will not take deals. I don't think anything will change. What are you talking about? Some of the smaller people in line with Joe Budden will not take deals.
People gonna take deals too.
They will not take. They will take deals, but they will not do it. They will not take ownership. Like you own everything.
We're in a recession, my man. Like what are you talking about?
Exclusivity? Absolutely.
Exclusivity, yeah.
ownership.
We put it exclusively on your platform, but we own it.
They're gonna make podcasts. They're gonna make them. They're gonna play. That's what they were trying to do. That's what they did. The Michelle Obama podcast is a Spotify produced. She didn't have a podcast, fam. She was first lady. She was busy. Then they said, "Yo, come and do a podcast." It didn't exist. There was no such thing as a Michelle. The same thing with the Kim Kardashian one. There was no Kim Kardashian podcast. They made that one. It's a Spotify original podcast, like Netflix original show. That is how I will make. You have to. There's no way around this logic.
Then
there is no way around that. So as soon as you enter the situation with companies like that, you have to understand that's what they're gonna do. When you have companies like Disney and Apple, which are multi-conglomerates that own all types of things like the color blue and toothpaste and water, then it's a different story. Because then it's just another thing they use to sell the thing that makes them the most money, like iPhones and MacBooks.
If this is the only thing they go for, okay.
Same thing with Netflix. It's only software.
Yeah.
If the shit crashed, they can't even make any money.
The only thing they really own.
If the shit glitch, the money stop. The money stop flowing because it's not. You see what I'm saying?
The only thing they really own is the shows, and in this case, the podcast.
And the difficulty.
You saw the move. Also. Did you see the recent move with Netflix?
What move they made?
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Oh, they're gonna have a show on it.
Documentary. Yeah. Like they'll produce certain shows or something.
Yeah. The doc. But Spotify really. You know, they've hit, if they do this right, they've hit the jackpot because podcasts, you have people, think about like a movie keeps people on a platform for 2 hours or something. Podcasts can keep people on a platform just
we know what the end goal
as
is,
much, right? Just as long.
Or even longer.
A movie costs how much to make?
Millions. A
podcast costs how much to make? $10. Bro, not even.
Few dollars. You can record it with your phone.
With your phone.
Yeah,
we're being excessive right now.
You see what I'm saying? Inexpensive. High retention. It's done.
But we know
switch. But however,
you know what the
end
only
works if I buy the thing. They also bought another one. There was this TikTok girl. There was this young girl off of TikTok that became a TikTok superstar. They said, "Fam, go make a podcast." That's what they gonna do now,
bro. You know what their end goal is, right? First of all, they want to have.
They will dominate the market share.
They want to have original shows, like you say. They want to just own them outright and have them in their list and just
that's what you make the most money on.
The second thing they want to do is get rid of RSS feeds. They want all podcasts to route through.
See, there's that tactic that Jefferson
Spotify.
RSS feed. Yeah.
The RSS feed. Okay, let me break it down a little bit. The RSS feed is.
You see what he did with the shoulders. You see the shoulders.
It changes all, you know.
Y'all cannot let me just cook.
You saw sponsor change, right?
Y'all cannot just let me cook.
Let me move the shoulders. You about to do something. You about to do something right now.
So the way podcasts are right now is that you have your podcast hosted somewhere. That could be either your own hosting or somewhere else. Some people do SoundCloud, some people use another service. From that service, it is posted to an RSS feed. An RSS feed is just a bunch of code telling the service, hey, this podcast is coming from here with this metadata, like with this name, etc.
It's like a link for those.
Yes. They want to get rid of that. They want to replace that RSS feed with their service.
If I called Michelle Obama, right? I called Michelle Obama on the phone and say, yo, come over here. Yeah. We got M's for you. You gonna make a podcast. We sit you down. This is what we're gonna do. There is no fucking RSS feed to even begin with.
That's the thing.
Record the thing. You have your MP3 file. You upload it to Spotify and it's done.
That's what they want.
No RSS feed anyway.
No, but that's what they want for everybody.
Feed, if there is one, it goes from my Spotify to all these other places through me, and I'm making money off of that. I put my ads in it. You see what I'm saying?
But that's the goal.
It's a whole
exactly
scheme.
What you're saying is that goal for everybody. So they hope that the next big thing in podcasting drops their podcast immediately in their service, and they can put all the ads in it they want. They don't need to ask the podcast. The podcast will just say, "Yeah, put ads in it."
Then you pay streaming ad insertion.
You pay me like 30%. You take 70. You pay me 30%. I'll get millions of views.
That's already what they do on YouTube.
It's exactly
what they do everywhere.
But
they do on Spotify as well. It's music. Yeah. The songs have ads if you don't have a subscription.
They want to do the YouTube model in Spotify, and not only in the free version of Spotify. They will do this in the paid version because it's 3 hours long. It doesn't matter if you hear a few ads. It's fine.
It does, but it doesn't. I see what you mean.
For them, it doesn't. We know that if you have, if we make this thing and we put ads in it, we want it to be a good ad. Mm-hmm. But they
wouldn't care.
Come on, 3 hours, but let's put some ads in it. You
Kim
see YouTube videos having
Joe Rogan,
ads
Michelle
every 10
Obama
minutes. Come on.
Exclusive shows. These people, look at the type of money we're talking about. Kim Kardashian West, Joe Rogan, and Michelle Obama to exclusive shows. This is what you have to do to get Joe Budden the fuck out of here. Let's just acknowledge that. You need Kim Kardashian and Joe Rogan and the fucking first lady to get this dude out of there. Yeah. It still didn't work, by the way. it still couldn't.
You're still number one.
You're still struggling.
And they needed to pay Joe like $100 million or some shit.
And they probably offered him that. They offered him retarded figures, very large figures.
I'm sure they did.
They did, but again, what you people at home maybe they were then gonna own it, and that's it. The 100 mil, I spread it out over your lifetime. Also, you're not getting 100 mil, put it in your pocket, and go home and do whatever you want. No, it's a deal. People need to understand the difference between $100 million and $100 million deal. It means we're gonna spread it out over a certain amount of time. We agree to certain terms. Why? Because then if we get 2-3 years in and you start coughing or you start limping or you lose your voice, I stop paying you. You see what I'm saying? If I give you the 100 mil up front, and we can't do that.
Yeah.
People don't understand. You guys, people at home, man, you don't see what it's. You don't see what people don't see this type of shit. They're like, oh, you didn't take all that money. You don't know what you're bad at business. Where was your lawyer? Fam, they had lawyers. What are you fucking? They had lawyers.
It's the same thing.
There were lawyers there.
It's the same thing as the Kanye slave deal we heard, and we thought that's fucked up.
But that guy.
No, but it's a similar thing. It's a similar thing.
I don't know
this guy.
I don't know why he makes it.
Nigga, this motherfucker gave.
To stop recording on weekdays with you. You mad on the weekdays?
This man
weekends were fine.
Did
weekdays,
a deal for lifetime.
You still continue.
Music in perpetuity. In perpetuity.
Yeah, I mean, look, look, man.
Let the man breathe. Man.
We're clearly heated about this, especially me.
No, it's just. I'm not. I think these are very. The only thing that frustrates me, I will say, is that people.
Is the response.
So many people aren't taking the lesson. I thought it was great. That was one of the best episodes ever. He explained. You should watch it too, because he explains it.
Everybody should watch it.
He explains it really well, and there's a lot of business lessons in there. A lot of business. I was like, wow, you're right. That's a good point. And people are sitting there not understanding.
The beautiful thing is he goes into a lot of nuances.
He's explaining to you the difference between a stream, unique streams. He's talking about the ad insertion, the length of podcast, the value of a stream, all these things. You're talking about, okay, but you didn't negotiate vacation time. Nigga, but this is not the fucking thing is about.
He also explains
those details are very insignificant.
He also explains how a company should treat you if you are a profitable asset to them. Like you need to be.
But you're not. Because I don't own you.
It's not profitable, but I mean, it's
because
it's an
I don't
asset.
own you.
No, but if a company has goodwill with you and sees you as a profitable asset, they will give you certain things. They will help you do certain things. They will give you the appreciation that because they want you to stay there longer.
And that is where we get into that. And we should make it up, but that's where we get into that conversation. That's what you have in film as well.
Yeah,
where. Is Netflix because of Netflix, or is Netflix because of the shows? There's people who differ on that. And a lot of times the people on the Netflix side, they differ on that. We make it happen. Yeah. We're the platform. Mm-hmm. We bring you the audience. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because we have the brand. Mm-hmm. You're gonna put it where? You're gonna self-distribute? You want to put it in the movie theater? Coronavirus, people ain't going to movie theaters ever again. Right? You want to put it on YouTube for free, monetize it. You want to put it on a Patreon. It's not going to work. People have subscriptions. You need to be here.
One question.
So I have exclusivity. I have no competition.
One question
you see what I'm saying?
To end this off. Where do you guys stand in that? Is the platform or the creator?
That's the conversation we're having.
The most important. Like, just give me your thoughts. I mean, what do you think?
It's the chicken and the egg. It's the chicken and the egg. The platform or the creator. I mean, every
like eventually, like
what's first? What makes what work? Because
I firmly stand in the creator.
I think the actual content has to be of a certain level, and if it's great content, it will eventually reach a wider audience. And
I agree. I think that a platform is built off a creator. A platform is not built off being a platform.
Platform, and of course the platform make sure that the content is out there for the world to see.
Definitely,
and it makes it, even if it's great content, it will make it even greater.
Yes, but the platform has the power.
100%.
That's what you. That's
in
what
the
you
end.
need to understand. The platform has the power, especially if that platform doesn't have competition. That's the problem we have.
The creator makes the platform, but the platform is the end all.
Yeah, it has the power. Because if Netflix now say, okay, we ain't gonna show you shit, where else you gonna go? Disney does only their own shit.
So, but that's why
Apple TV is trash.
HBO is on
HBO Max is another.
HBO in the current time, currently the regular HBO is big because of Game of Thrones. That's the only reason.
But that's what I also keep telling people. You have to understand, every streaming platform is carried by like 10 different pieces of content at any given time. They need to have the back catalog. That's why they bought Gimlet. But if we say, okay, Spotify podcasting, and you have just 4 podcasts, are you paying a subscription every month for only 4 podcasts? Of course fucking not. You want to thousands of podcasts, but then you pay a subscription, they have thousands of podcasts, you only listening to the 4.
But this doesn't...
you only listening to the 4. So but they need the back catalog to sell the service, and then what is at the front of the service will carry the vast majority of the platform.
But this is not only a thing for the platform. This is also the creator. As a creator, you want to have a back catalog so you can show somebody.
It's basically,
this is what
it's
we
basically
are.
the same with music. So if you hear, for example, Young Thug, like
yes,
if Young Thug has a great song like About the Money, for example, right, with T.I., it's a T.I. song, but I mean still, the example stands. If you go to Young Thug's catalog and he has 1-2 songs, you're done after 1-2 songs. But you want that retention. You want so he listened to About That Money, and he went on my platform, or the consumer goes on my platform and sees this catalog of different projects and everything. You have that consumer then, because he will listen to any and every project.
Yeah.
Because you have this back catalog.
That rule is for both the creator and the platform. For the creator is the way you create new fans. For a platform is the way you get money. Simply said.
Platform has the power, and then that's the problem.
It is what it is. Yes.
The platform has the power, but they don't create themselves. Yes.
So a crazy link, right? Crazy link. Because we'll continue, right? You want to continue? Yeah. Crazy link to own. We're talking about ownership, right?
Oh, you're gonna do this? Don't do
Yeah. We're talking about ownership.
This is a reach, man.
Yeah, it's a reach. It's a
far-reaching type of segue. But
still,
we have to take a break. You can have a sandwich or something first.
Yeah, let me have a break, man. Let me have a break.
We'll take a break.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We are the 3 Angry Men. My name is Jeffrey.
Duncan.
Oliver.
And we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Follow us everywhere. We're on Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else where you can listen to podcasts.
That's a good one.
And we're on YouTube, of course. Always on YouTube. Thank you for listening.